Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
Welcome to the new studio space of the Toronto Living's Real Estate Podcast Show.
Yeah.
Tune into this week's because we're going to tell you all about this space and why we're here and how we got here.
Yes.
You're going to tell us about
what am I going to tell us about?
the market.
The market. We're going to talk about a lot.
We are. Yeah, we are. But
this is a market one for February altogether.
And Joey uncovers a really wild conspiracy with the month of February.
Yes. Yeah. February is an interesting month, and I'm going to call it historical at this point.
Sure. Do it. Yeah.
So stay tuned to the end for that.
Stay tuned to the end. Yeah. And let us know what you think of our new space.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy.
All right. Welcome to the Toronto Living's Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with SAGE Real Estate, working together as a Toronto Living's team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Mr. Joey.
Mr. Mark.
How are ya?
I feel good. We're in a whole new atmosphere today.
Oh my God, look what tariffs have done to us. Our makeshift studio and an office boardroom, we've upgraded.
We're upgrading. Yeah.
Upgrading.
One step at a time. I think we're going to be in I like this spot.
Yeah.
It feels
different dynamic.
Different dynamic.
Yeah.
Feels more intimate.
Yeah. Usually I'm like staring off into space, trying to recount the story and then
checking out who's coming into the building.
There's lots of distractions in our previous setup, but it only took 3 seasons for us to get our own podcast studio. Yes. A very bare podcast studio.
Yep.
If I may add.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of it. We're starting with like nothing, and slowly we're going to build ourselves up.
We're going to get this place looking real spiffy over time, I think.
We're damn well better. Today, all we got is each other.
Yeah.
An IKEA desk.
And a couple of microphones.
And
most importantly,
some Canadian Maplewood blended whiskey.
Yes. We're still on the tariff talks in the last little bit.
Yes.
And this is a Collingwood specific,
super local.
Yes.
Supporting local.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into whiskey and bourbon and what they're made of. And
that was so episode 81. We're beyond that. Because it's episode 83.
Yes.
And we're talking about the February market update.
That's right. Yeah. We should talk about what we're talking about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many things to talk about.
Yes. There's lots
New space, minimalism.
Yeah. So this is a market update episode.
This is a market update in our new podcast studio. Joey's moved into the office. We've got a lot of exciting things happening. Yeah. I feel like we've never really peeled back the onions as to like where we work out of and all that fun stuff.
No, we should talk about that.
Yeah. We're in the Castlefield Design District. We probably said that in like episode 1 or 2.
Yes.
And then we never spoke of it again. It's a really cool part of Toronto. It's really up and coming. It used to kind of be like dotted with mechanic shops.
Right.
And now there's a lot of design spaces and places to buy all different types of home finishings and furnishings. And us, our office is tucked right in between all these new exciting action.
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful space. It's like, it was so well done. It's a turnkey situation.
Yeah. I think it was Studio 33 designed the space.
Okay.
I'm going to have to fact check that.
Okay.
But the designer's name is Chloe. She did do a wonderful job.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Second coat of paint just hit the walls recently.
Yeah. Freshen it up a little bit. I've been here for 3 years in this office space, and Joey just joined me 2 weeks ago. That's why we have a celebratory drink in hand. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that for us.
Absolutely.
And it's always been like, once we started the podcast, it was like, all right, let's just get it up there.
Yeah.
And now let's improve it every little bit. Let's try to make it a little bit bigger and better. And this opportunity came up for us to kind of take over a bit more space. So we're working that out, the kinks of that out, which has been fun.
Yes.
And part of it was to turn this old utility room into our new state-of-the-art podcast studio.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's it. It's going to be one step at a time. You're going to start seeing new things kind of trickle into the space.
Yeah.
But it's very comfortable in here. And it's so nice not to be near a distraction area.
Yeah. Our last backdrop, if you watched us on YouTube or on Spotify, was really cool. Like the space looked cool.
Yes.
But spoiler alert, it was just a boardroom. And like Joey, the sound engineer, you were telling me like, okay, not the greatest place, but you made it work.
Yeah. 100%.
And I think hopefully the listeners will notice an improvement in sound in this space.
Yes, you're going to hear, we're talking audio talks. You're going to start hearing us a lot more up close and personal. There's not going to be as much reverberation around the room.
Yeah.
So it should be a nice tight podcast sound for you.
Yeah, and that was our priority of just kind of improving. We've got some stuff in the pipeline for improving the actual podcast, but in terms of audio quality, I think this is a step in the right direction.
Totally agree.
You shared with me, I mean, I guess every audio person knows this about adding carpeting.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we have carpeting beneath us.
Yes, we do.
It feels so much more comfortable than the polished concrete.
It's you know what, it's paired with this nice whiskey that we had in
Is that what it is? Yeah. We just need a crackling fireplace and I'm set. I'm good for life here. Well, cheers, Joey.
Cheers.
To a next evolution of the Toronto Livings podcast.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. Little ASMR. I'm drinking a delicious toasted Maplewood Stav finished blended Canadian whiskey. Just rolls off your tongue, eh?
It's like our title of our podcast. It's all suited.
Which is actually probably a topic of discussion we should get into. We need some stuff here. Like, should we put a logo? Should we, what?
I'm thinking so.
Let me ask the listeners.
Oh, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
What should we put here?
Listeners, what should we put in this blank space here?
That ties into a really good, if you have a suggestion, please leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Hit the like button.
Right on. Smooth transition there.
So we'll get into a topic of conversation on this one about what we should be doing with the space.
Yeah. Well, we've been growing organically. We're not like, I like our hungry dog mentality of just like, all right, grab a mic, grab a laptop. We record this on an iPhone.
A million percent. Yeah.
We're talking bootstrapping. We really bootstrap it. And I'm proud of the evolution it's made and kind of where we're at with things.
So much so. Yeah. It's a great way to, honestly, yeah, that's a lot on you to just push it forward. I think that's such a good, we wouldn't have been on episode 83 if that didn't happen.
Yeah. Ready, aim, fire. Ready, fire, 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 fire.
Yeah.
Now we're in the aiming portion of the process. And we're just like, all right, what can we do to make it better? But it's like, it's a pretty cool community we've established. Like, I love getting DMs from people who are like, oh, I heard you enjoy talking about this and that.
Same here. Yeah. It's always it's a very good, humbling experience.
It
when
is.
you have that moment.
It is when like your friends and sometimes family, not a lot of family from my end, but some friends are like, yeah, I listened to it and like, oh, we thought this was and that was, and we tried this restaurant and like,
yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That definitely makes my day whenever that comes up.
For sure. So we're going to, I challenge Joey. I don't want to be in this space forever. I'm always trying to push the envelope. So our next steps is to outgrow this space and hopefully not take 3 seasons to do it. Which brings me to my second point.
Let's hear it.
We're looking for funding. If anyone is interested in funding the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast,
yes,
donations are accepted.
We got
Receipts will be given. Probably not. No, but I think it's time to start looking for advertisers.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
We rock so many people's stuff for free.
Yeah.
And this ends now.
No more updates unless you pay.
We're holding this podcast ransom. One sip of Collingwood and I'm toast. I'm toasted like the Maplewood. Love it. No, all jokes aside, I think if there are any local, like I want to keep it very authentic and natural.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
But like if there's somebody with a small business that wants a little bit of love and they're open to maybe not donating, investing a little bit into some ad space, I think that's,
hey, we'll promote the hell out of it.
Yeah, that's the next evolution. But we got to like have like a council of like approval.
Totally agree. Yeah.
I'm not promoting anything.
Anything and everything? No.
No.
We're going to do some vetting. We're going to make sure we got good people that, if we're going to be putting it forward.
100%. Yeah. That's our pinky swear.
I like that.
Also, your pinky swear was like my whole arm grabbing. I love that. Let's get back on course here.
Yes. Shall we?
How was your week, Joey? Where'd you eat?
This week we were together.
We were together, man.
Yes. Another event by the Sagers.
Yes.
And meeting with the Sages.
Sages, yeah.
We did a really good spot. So I got to tell you that before and during and after, I do what I usually do, and I did not get the name right for so long of the place that we went to.
Oh,
I want to shout out. I'm going to shout out. We again, it's always a good time to see the
Sage crew,
the Sage crew in general. But oh my God, I botched this name for so long. I was calling it. I landed and stuck with the Upper Supper Club for a really long time.
Okay.
Loved that name. Rolls right off the tongue.
The Upper Supper Club.
The Upper Supper Club.
Hey, side gig.
But no, I was wrong. We went to the Ultra Supper Club.
Ultra. You know what's funny? So Ultra used to be a club in Toronto.
Okay.
I knew that, but called it every name but Ultra as well. I called it Cube. I called it Lobby. I was saying, Adriana S is like, where are you going? She's like, I don't, So it's so funny that we both spend too much time together.
Circling, yeah. So it is, and I gotta be honest. The food was such a standout for me. Like, it's definitely upper class dining.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's an elevated experience.
I need to read you some of the things that we ate, because it was like I thought we were going to be done like 3 courses, 4 courses in, but it kept going.
Yeah. There was like 6, 7 courses.
Yes. Yeah. So it was like they definitely went through like a good chunk of their menu. But
can I just say I'm very excited to see your pronunciation of some of these food items.
Listen, I'm keeping it nice and simple. I'm playing it safe here.
What do we eat, Joey?
We had to start. The biggest shout out I have to give was it was Wagyu.
Yeah.
So I've never had Wagyu before. Okay. And we had a conversation about Wagyu not being
Kobe beef is not different.
Okay. So I didn't. Regardless, it was delicious, and it was a Wagyu carpaccio.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good.
But I've never had carpaccio before. I was literally I was eating it with my chopsticks.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to eat with chopsticks?
Tomato.
Okay.
Whatever works.
I was trying to grab it with my chopsticks, and I was like, what is it? Meat, or is it like what is? Slowly I learned that yes, it's very thinly sliced meat.
And I will say that was actually a really good preparation of carpaccio.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was it tasted like it was marinated for quite some time.
Yes.
Had a nice little vinegar tinge to it. They did it really well, super thinly sliced.
Yes.
Some crunch in it. I don't remember if it was walnuts or something, but I was impressed with that.
It was definitely standout. Like that was probably my favorite of the courses personally.
Yeah.
We also had a Wagyu skirt steak.
That was really good.
Also delicious.
With the chimichurri at the bottom.
Yes. I love chimichurri. Is like
so underrated.
I could drink it.
I wouldn't, but I mean, I see where you're coming from.
Delicious though. Yeah. It was a really soft. It was cooked so well. It was rare or
no, Wagyu by design is super tender.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it melted in your mouth.
And I think what you're saying is it wasn't overcooked. It was very like rare.
No, and I'm sorry. I'm somebody who really appreciates a rare steak.
Okay.
So like that was something that I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
Was the fact that it was soft.
Tender.
Yeah, it was tender.
Buttery, just melts on your tongue.
Melted. Yeah, exactly. Tuna tartare.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, there was a ton. They also had this truffle pasta.
Yeah.
Which was like it was an udon rice noodle.
Yeah.
With like a they had this nut or
breadcrumb.
Something. Was it breadcrumb?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like a panko breadcrumb.
Anyway.
Truffle sauce.
Truffle sauce.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I'm not going to lie. It was a very, very good menu.
Yeah.
So shout out sages.
The sages.
Yeah. For hooking us up with that. It's a nice intimate group too. It's nice that they do these quarterly, our brokerage does these quarterly events where they take a smaller group of sagers and kind of put them all in a room together so we can all get to know each other. And I gotta say, it was a solid group of people.
Yeah.
And like food was on point. So you guys did an awesome job.
Great group of people to be around. The decor of this place is ultra.
Yeah.
It's super high class. It's really, really well done. They have 2 main rooms. The manager came by, was talking to me. He's a good friend of Adriana S.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And that night was the first night they were trying the new menu.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
that was a new menu.
That was a new menu. Yeah.
You guys knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, loved it. I told Age we're going back. We're going to do, maybe bring
we'll do a round. Yeah.
We'll go there. It's a really nice spot. Loved it.
So A+ all around. But we have to talk about your week. Is there anywhere else that you went to, or do you want to keep that as like that was what we did this week?
I do got to give another Adriana S shout out.
Okay, let's hear it.
I had meat and potatoes. I sent you a photo.
Yes, you did.
So she's like, tonight I'm making meat and potatoes. And I'm like, because of Joey? And she's like, what? Like, because Joey's always like, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. And she's like, no, because it's a challenge. I want to make you something interesting. But it wasn't. So every time you said meat and potatoes, I pictured like a hungry man's 3-inch steak and potatoes. She made what's known as a shepherd's pie.
Oh, shepherd's pie is delicious.
I for some reason, I think the name of it threw me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't we eat shepherd's food? It was fantastic.
Yeah, shepherd's pie is amazing.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
She knocked that one out of the park.
Yeah. That looked like it was done proper.
Yeah, we have the instant cooker.
Right.
And she did the mashed potatoes in that. I'm not a mashed potato guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even keg double cooked potatoes, not my thing.
Not a thing?
No, not my thing.
Oh my God.
I know we're just going to create a brand of elevated potatoes, but I'm actually not a potato guy.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have to switch things up.
Well, I like Parisian potatoes.
Okay.
Those little
The little guys.
ones I like.
Yeah.
But anyhow, she did this really good mashed potato on top
Yeah.
that I loved. And I'm not like a mashed potato guy.
Okay.
So it was seasoned really well. And then I don't know if this ruins her secret sauce, but she put pork and beef together.
Ooh.
So I had pork, beef, and potatoes. And it was all ground up and kind of merged together.
That's meat and potatoes all encompassing.
Yeah, and she layered it and then she put it back in the stove. Like, man.
It's an event.
It was quite the process.
Yeah, I haven't looked up or even thought to make shepherd's pie ever. It's one of those things where it's like if it's on the menu, you might order it.
Yeah,
because it's something that you would never do.
Right. Yeah. Well, come by sometime. She'll make you a good heaping of it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So that's what I did, and then if I go out, I went to Sneaky D's this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Random. Yeah. Yeah. I went to Sneaky D's, but we don't got to talk about that. I want to talk about Lent.
Okay.
Now's the time if you want to give a donation. I say Lent. I'm not like I'm a born Catholic, but I'm not because I'm Italian. I got baptized and went through the process, but I'm not like a heavy practicing Catholic by any stretch. But I like Lent.
Okay.
I think it's a really good practice to get into.
Okay.
40 days of something.
Yeah.
Like take the religious element out of it, but I don't know. I think it's something every year all humans should give themselves that chance to like kick a habit, start a new habit, whatever.
I gotta give you kudos because Lent is something I haven't
participated.
I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on you.
It's weird because I say Lent and then my phone starts giving me all these Mark Wahlberg apps, ads about some Catholic app he's part of.
Okay.
And like on Wednesday, everyone had ashes on their head for Ash Wednesday. And I was like,
Oh.
what the heck? Algorithm overload. So I'm not that deep into it, but I actually got Lent wrong because I thought it started like last week and I stopped drinking coffee. That was going to be my give up thing for the 40 days.
Yes.
Then I found out I got my days wrong and I was not drinking coffee for no reason. And then Adriana said, you've been a little bit difficult to be around these last 3 days. Like consider something else. So I've started 40 days of Peloton.
Okay.
Nonstop every day for 40 days.
I support
Peloton.
Yeah. I support that.
Yeah.
That's a mental boost. It's a health boost.
It's a health boost. Yeah.
And 40 days straight. That's
40 days straight.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm on day 3.
And how do you feel?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
I miss biking. I was so into cycling at the COVID era, and then I just kind of stopped it.
It's so funny because like when you think about that, Lent is supposed to be giving something up.
Yeah.
Or I guess you're just at it. But if you give up coffee and coffee makes you miserable,
Yeah.
it's not like coffee's doing harm to you. So it's just more. Now you're adding something to your life and forcing yourself. Like it's more of you're still doing the restriction thing. You're just doing it in a way.
In a different way. Yeah. And I told myself I'm not giving something up. I'm giving up being lazy.
Right. Okay.
Right. Because I like
There you go.
the lethargicness of like the bike's right there. I've got the app. Jump on it. Do your half-hour class, whatever it is.
Yep.
Now I'm like, yeah, I'm giving up laziness. It's a short way of putting it.
No, I like it. I'm on board with it. And I started back in the gym after a long hiatus.
Okay.
So I'll join you on that.
40 days.
40 days.
Okay, we got to hold each other accountable.
Done and done.
Do you connect your workouts to anything? Is there any digital way I can track you to know you've done it?
No.
Okay.
I just gotta trust my word. No, the Apple Watch for strength training doesn't really
monitor it.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna follow up every day. I'll send you my done deal, and then you have to send me a selfie from the gym. So I know you've been there.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Fair?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so Joey's giving up
Being lazy.
Yeah, that's our devotion.
Yes.
All right, I'm good with that segment. News you can use.
News you can use.
One little story to share.
Let's hear it.
Someone had a birthday this week.
Oh.
Do you know who? Any guesses?
No, am I forgetting somebody I shouldn't be forgetting?
Pretty substantial.
Oh God.
191 years young.
Is it like Canada?
Close.
Well, not in Canada, but
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. Close, yeah. Toronto had a birthday this week.
Not bad.
191 years young.
Okay. I don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
It's not a personal attack.
I saw your mind like, oh God, Amazon, how quickly can you deliver a gift? Just the namesake of our brand, Toronto Livings, Toronto the city.
You should know this. Yeah, you're right.
March 6th, official date of Toronto's incorporation.
Happy birthday, Toronto.
Well, not quite, because there's supposed to be a party tomorrow.
Oh, where?
Oh, we're all going to get together. City Hall is going to be crazy, amazing.
Okay.
Postponed.
Oh, to what?
This is the news you can use.
Okay, let's hear it.
Strike incoming. So the inside workers at the city of Toronto are going on strike, potentially.
Okay.
Well, depending on when this airs, we might be in a strike position or not. But this is going to impact a lot of families because March break is coming up next week.
Yeah.
And all city-run and operated centers will be closed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's going to be quite the nightmare for a lot of families out there.
Oh, there's so many things happening right now. Our news you could use, we've been light on the last little bit, and this has probably been the most news heavy.
Oh, this is the most like important actual stuff people need to know about. I mean, they'll know about it by the time we go live, but rec centers are closing, March break camps, all city operated childcare centers. You will get a refund, so you're not losing your money. But hello, parents, you're stuck with your kids for March break.
Whatever plans you had.
Yeah, you'd pay double to. But this is also going to result in delays to building permits. And this is where it applies to us.
I didn't know that.
Yep. As well as 311 calls that might go unanswered.
Gee.
So if you've got a dead raccoon on your street.
Oh, man. Good thing I got rid of my Christmas tree as early as I did.
Why, you think a neighbor would complain?
Yeah. No, it's just sitting on the street for God knows how long.
Something about that doesn't surprise me. But don't panic too much. Emergency services are totally normal, still running on time. TTC, all that stuff. Garbage pickup. This does not impact any of that.
Oh, okay. So we're safe there.
Yeah, we're safe. We're safe because we don't have kids. But everyone around us is going to be wishing they had some coffee in their life.
Oh, good Lord.
How's the garden suite going?
Okay, so the garden suite is flying right now. I have never been more busy on a listing in the I don't even know how many
History of our
lives. So far I have fielded over 300 at this point leads that have come in.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we've been so busy that it's turned into more of an open house that we're doing this weekend.
I like that.
So we're lining everything up.
Sorry, you had over 300 leads come in for this listing.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah, to the point where, and I've been responding to each of them that have come in, which is time consuming on its own.
That's why we have a drink.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy week.
Yeah.
So we're now setting it up where we're holding an open house. You're going to come in the slots. If you've reached out, I've let you know the time slots that come through, and then we're just going to kind of see what happens after this.
Go through the process. Yeah. That's amazing. Really, really happy to hear that for you guys.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's funny how this stuff works, but very happy for the landlord's going to be pretty pleased. I think
that's amazing. This is our first garden suite that we've rented out.
Yeah,
it's kind of new territory for a lot of agents in the city. First for us as well, and I think those numbers are quite impressive. And I wish you guys good luck finding a great tenant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. How about what's happening on your side of the listings?
Oh God. Well, church is going really well.
Yeah.
We're conditionally sold the largest unit in the development.
Okay.
This is a big one. Lovely couple.
That's a big check mark.
It's a big check mark. Yeah. This is really going to really push us closer to the finish line. And we only have, once this one's gone, 4 left. And they're all priced really affordable. Yep. So I'm quite hopeful that things do move on that. But I've been busy with that. I have a stunning 4,000 square foot home in Oakville.
Yes.
I'm going to maybe save the details for next week.
We'll wait it out.
Yeah, we'll wait it out. We did launch today. It's just under 3 million, 2.9. It's in Oakville. Here I am. Can't take the reel throughout the game. I'm going to talk about this later also. Tune in next week for more details.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it is a stunner from the little pieces that have come out so far. It's a complete stunner.
It is, yeah. And shout out to Renee Elliott from RE Creative because she did an incredible job.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, I want to share one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you go to Comedy Club?
Yes.
Comedy Bar?
Comedy, yeah.
Comedy
Absolute.
Bar?
There's Absolute. There's
no,
comedy,
the one on Bloor that you go to. What's it called?
Comedy. Now you're throwing me off. Comedy Bar. I think
Comedy Bar, I think it's called. Yeah. I went to Comedy Bar Monday.
Yeah.
I saw Lil Mo.
That's right.
Lil Mozzarella.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was good. Yeah.
Venue was great. Comedy was hilarious. Funny story. When I was going to park, this poor lady was stuck in her car and I was trying to help her out. Turns out she was the opening act for the show. And like, I realized like when I was helping her, I'm like, this lady's kind of funny. And then I'm like, oh my God, she's like,
on stage right now.
Yeah. So shout out Little Mozzarella, shout out Comedy Bar.
Love it.
I'm like now a proponent, like, cause you're always going to these comedy clubs.
Yeah.
And I hear you, but I never experienced it. Now that I went there, I'm like, I think I'm going to make it a once a month thing.
Oh, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's different than a movie. It's different than you get to just experience live people. And like when it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's still entertaining.
It's still entertaining.
You just start sweating because you feel uncomfortable, but like
for them.
yes,
yeah,
very much
that.
so. But no, it's such a good move.
Yeah. Shout out Comedy Bar. They have one in the Danforth and the East End
Yep.
near, I think it was near Vic Parkish area.
Yeah.
And then there's another one in Bloor and Dufferin, Bloor and Dovercourt area.
Yeah.
So yeah, big fan of that.
Support it.
Okay. Jokes aside,
Yes.
let's get into the comedy that was the month of February.
I like the start of this already.
I mean, okay, let me just say something. We were very busy this week. Like, this was one of the busiest weeks of the year so far.
Yep.
I didn't pay much attention to the finer details of the market, but I had an overall sense that, oh my God, things are really bad.
Right.
Now, maybe this overarching theme of are we getting tariffed or not? At Monday we were. By Friday, I don't think we are.
And then now it's, I don't even know. Yeah, we're still up in the air.
Yeah. I know there's no American booze on the shelves, but that's about as deep as I got into the tariff.
Yeah, I've heard and seen it go back and forth so many times that I have no idea where we've landed at this point.
Yeah, so the media seemed really bearish on the numbers, and kind of, I guess, maybe the algorithm on Twitter was showing me a really dismal account of things. Not that bad. I don't think it was that bad of a month.
No. When you look at the grand picture, it's. I agree with you. I do agree with you.
All things considered, taking the all-encompassing time and place that we're in and all the stuff that comes with it, it wasn't that bad of a month.
Right.
And take our word for it, or stay tuned as we get into the deeper numbers of what was. Big picture?
Big picture. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut down my noises that are cooking off.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
So we had like over 4,000 transactions for the month of February, which was pretty good. It was a 5% bump from the month prior. But when you compare it to the year ago,
right,
it's 28% drop.
Right.
So yes, if you focus on where we were last year, and as we said, higher interest rates, you would expect more transactions to occur. But I think the tariff talk,
totally,
uncertainty.
Yeah, we're still in this weird. It's been constantly with us uncertain, right? Yeah. We've been dealing with this uncertainty in all fronts for so long now. At this point, we've been in transition, or we've been still kind of like
prepping.
Yeah. So 100%. So it makes sense that everyone's kind of a wait and see. But I'm having conversations with buyers that are just like, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just going to hang tight for a sec.
Okay, and that's the thing that really doesn't translate well for me. We've been very busy.
Yeah. Also true.
Things are selling.
Yeah.
Our phones are off the hook, but the market data is kind of saying something a little bit different. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's numbers, or it is what it is. Yep. But I mean, it's a very wishy-washy month that I think we just went through, where
totally
lots of stuff has happened, even though the numbers might not be as good as last year. I feel confident still for the year ahead.
Yeah. I'm also in the same boat. And the thing that I think is going to be helping on the real estate side of things, just to speak a bit about this tariff talk, because if it does stay up, the Bank of Canada has been pretty vocal about, if it stays up, we're going to do stuff to help boost the economy.
Cut further.
And we're going to cut further.
I'm so glad you said that.
That's the biggest piece of the puzzle right now.
That's where we stand to, I don't want to say benefit, because we don't want to see the market take off and go crazy like it did in 2020, whenever.
Yeah.
But think back 4 years to COVID, we might be in a similar financial situation where there is these stimuluses that are going to be introduced to help boost the market.
Right. And kind of, and then I think that's going to help people with the uncertainty. Or alternatively, it goes into a place of people are like, are they lowering more? Let me wait and see what, you know what I mean? It's that constant psychology that we're playing with right now. But all in all, I think realistically by the end of it, if things do cut more and more, I think more people are going to start jumping in again.
Well, that's interesting you mentioned that, because before COVID, the market was relatively well, and then the rates dropped and it took off like a wildfire. We're coming from a high inflationary period where we're slowing things down, and now it looks like they're going to throw more kerosene on to heat it back up. So I'm curious how this rebound or the next 6 months is going to react to how it's going to be different from COVID times.
Right.
Because what preceded this cut is not the same as what preceded the last big drop in cut.
Very true.
So again, it's anyone's guess. And I think the fundamentals still remain. If you've got a steady, secure job that you think you're in, hopefully Senior Musk and the Doge crew doesn't come up to Canada. Because that's scary too for all these government workers who are just, boom, America first. Also, you're fired.
Yeah, very much.
So if you have a steady job up here, and I think the means and ability to carry the cost of it, it's always going to make sense in the long term.
Agree.
And don't get too caught up in the month over month, even year over year.
Yes.
3 to 5 years continues to be the sweet spot. Keep the fundamentals in check, and you're going to be all right.
I like that. Amazing. Shall we continue down the big picture line here?
Let's do it. You want to tackle new listings?
Okay. So new listings, 12,066 new listings in the month of February. Mm-hmm. That was a slight tick down by nearly 3%. But up 6% from last year.
Exactly. Yeah. So a slight downtick, but remember, new listings is like a downtick is good. So that means more places are being absorbed. Right?
So yeah, this is new listings, right? So this is what I think happened. This is my weird theory, which is anybody who was waiting for, or a lot of people who were waiting for the 2025 year when they pulled off the market, I think they jumped back in January.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did anyways. So February, where we were hoping for this kind of like new uptick of, now we're getting into spring. Yes. I think a lot of people jumped in early. I think a lot of people will be jumping in more in March.
Yeah. Yep. I see that. I think more absorption is going to come. Probably what we have to practice is a little bit of restraint and patience. This is not going to happen in 1 month. It's not going to be a quick light switch, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I do think as the year progresses, things will probably pick up if rates do continue to cut.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Again, as we get, and we're also, when we walk away from this, like this threat of tariffs every 2 seconds, the news headlines are really, not that even the news headlines, what the president of the United States is doing currently is it's keeping everything really in the air. And I think that's affected February.
It is, but also like a lot of people I'm talking to are exhausted already.
Yeah.
Like, I think we peaked at Team Canada versus Team USA. And after that, everyone's like, okay, stop. Like, just let's go back to normal life. Like, we have other existential threats to worry about other than these man-made problems of tariffs and all these other stuff. So definitely there's exhaustion. I think we just completed the provincial election where Dougie Timbits won. And now we're probably going to have a federal one spring or fall of this year. So get ready. There's going to be more messaging that's going to probably annoy you.
100%.
Yeah. Average price?
Average price.
So we're at $1,084,547 for the month of February. That encompasses all of GTA, all property styles, detached, semis, towns, condos.
That's a bump month over month.
It's a bump. We did go up 4% month over month. That's right.
Which makes sense because January is lighter in general.
But when we compare it to February last year, which precedes January as well, we're down 2%. Prices are down 2% from the same time last year.
Right. Okay.
Again, take this number with a grain of salt. It's a very broad number, covers a lot of different areas in Toronto, and the GTA. So not the biggest indicator of things yet, but a nice little trend we like to follow.
Yeah, 100%. And keep in mind that's all encompassing. That's not
Toronto specific by any means. It's all GTA.
Days on market.
Yes.
So we're at 43 days on market, which is a shift down. We saw in January it was 55.
That's right.
And still 6 days longer than the same time last year.
It is. Yeah. And 43 is not a confetti day. We're not popping any cannons off for this one. But again, I think trends are starting to be seen. We're starting to kind of bring those days on market down. The next 4 months represent the busiest in Toronto real estate. So we really want to see that. We can get sub 30, 25, under a month to 25 days. I think that's a win.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's a good indicator that
we're actually absorbing.
For sellers, the market's back. And again, this is a very big eye opener. This all seems very bad if you're a seller.
Right.
But if you're a buyer.
I know. Yeah. That's the other piece of it. There's always two sides of the coin, right?
Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose. That's just the facts of life.
Yeah.
So
100%. Transactions.
Yes. AKA sales. That's what the media losers call it. Cool cats. We call it
big media.
Big media.
To get you.
Not the bootstrappers over here.
Go ahead. You can kick us off.
Sure, man. All segments, we saw a month over month increase, which is good.
Yep.
Towns was the only one that was kind of the same as the month prior. But year over year, all segments saw a drop.
Yeah.
So we're better than January, but we're worse than February of last year.
Right.
Detached homes seem to be hit. This is sales, transactions, the hardest. They were down 27%.
Yep.
Condos, my lovely little condos, I think they're going to be the little engine that could this year. They saw the least amount of volatility between all four segments.
Right.
Yeah.
So funny, man.
They're down year over year, 18% less sales. But they were the most active segment for February.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we're still in this segment of confusion and people are just not transacting a lot right now.
They're not. And the condo market represents a lot of investors more than anything, especially first-time buyers, investors.
Good point to make.
There's a big purchasing pool for that. And that market is, the investor market is pretty much dead town.
Yeah.
That's coupled with the fact that rents have come down quite a bit.
Right.
So if you're not able to kind of make it work, why would you invest in a condo?
Totally.
There's other options to get into.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, if we're talking about transactions, just to paint the picture, detached was 400 sales for the month of February. Semis 145, towns 143. Condos 830.
Right.
So they make up a huge portion of what's happening.
Yeah, and by design, you got to keep in mind, we're talking Toronto now. There is a lot more condo units than there is detached semi-houses.
Totally,
All that other fun stuff. But 830 is a good number to see. It's not a fantastic number, but this is now a 3-month trend.
Right.
Every month, condo sales are growing.
Right.
The heat of last year, I think it was like 16, don't quote me on this, 1600 for the month of May, I believe it was. So we would like to see it kind of get back to there.
Yep.
But this is a good trend. And as we see more investors, as the rates come down, more investors come in, absorb rentals, less rentals available, rental prices increase, law of supply and demand. This could be painting a strong picture.
1,000,000%. Yeah, 1,000,000%. And if they're cutting as aggressive as they're talking about, then the rents everything's going to start making sense again for them to jump in.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Rents may not move that much this year. That's kind of my inkling.
Yeah.
But rates will help lessen the blow and make them attractive.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Average prices.
Let's get into it.
All segments saw month-over-month growth.
Yes.
Again, makes sense. We're talking about January to February. It's kind of expected.
A little seasonality in play there.
Detached with the biggest bump by nearly 7.5% month over month.
Yeah.
So that's pretty solid.
Yep.
Condos with the least at 5%, but still 5 to 7.5 is not too bad.
Well, again, what we just said, there's a smaller pool of detached, so there is more fluctuation in detached prices. With the amount of condos that are out there, it is normal to see less volatility. That's something you've pointed out.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about condos.
Totally. And when we get into months of inventory, you're going to see that too. And I have a segment at the end I'm going to do. That's the February month which is an interesting one. I'm going to go through.
I thought you were going to say like juggling plates, like a segment where you're going to juggle plates.
Oh, I can do that too.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We'll do like a cut in at the
3 days later.
but detached, we're at 1.7, almost 1.8 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.78. Semis at 1.275.
Almost 1.3.
Towns at basically $1 million.
$1,030,000. Now remember, towns did this weird thing last year where they would fluctuate from over $1 million down to 900,000.
Yes.
And it's like month over month, there's these weird drops. So this is now a good month for towns. It's back up over $1 million.
Yes.
Why these anomalies happen, we are not sure.
No, there must be some like really, really nice towns in a section of the
And some really, really not nice towns.
Just like really pulling one way or another. Condos we saw 724,000 is what the average is.
Yes.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, because the peak last year in May was 767.
It's consistent. I won't say solid. It's consistent.
Yeah. And this is a good number. We were sub 7 in December or January. So now we're 724.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign. It's an interesting stat because all you're hearing about and seeing is that condos are getting murdered everywhere. And like they're doing so awful. It's brutal. But they're still they're like okay in price.
Look, they swung 50,000 on the worst month.
Yeah.
Like if you take the peak and the highest and the lowest over a year, it's a $50,000 swing. That's not a huge amount.
No.
Whereas for detached, it's like 250,000.
No, you're in a way bigger bracket.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking averages here, but just to kind of illustrate the point that condos seem to be, condos aren't as bad as I think it sounds out there.
They fluctuate a lot less.
A lot less.
They're safer in terms of. I think they're safer in terms of if you're the big drops and the big ups, they'll ride a little more consistently.
Correct. And we're talking averages again.
Again, yeah, 100%.
Do your thing for months of inventory.
Okay. So months of inventory, again, for any new listeners, is if you were to stop putting any listings on the MLS today, how long would it take for those listings to sell out? 1 to 3 months to sell out is a seller's market, which means it's going quick and prices go up. People are buying really quickly. 4 to 6 months is a balanced market, which means it's kind of even keel and proper negotiations. 6 plus becomes a buyer's market and its prices go down. Sellers are not in a good place. So we're in, I think overall, we're still in we haven't moved very much. I'll say that. We've moved, but it's not like insane. We're still
from last month?
From last month, yeah. And just, it hasn't moved much in the last like year or so.
Yeah.
We've had moments when it became really kind of, I would say, sketchier when it comes to just like a lot of inventory, but still for the majority, we're in a seller's market. So sorry, let me go through this. My award ceremony of first place, and we'll go down from there. So first place, semis as per usual, went from 2.3, but it actually went up. So we gained a little more semis this last month, and it went from 2.3 months of inventory to 2.6 months of inventory. Still well into a seller's market. Towns went from 2.9 to 3.4. So this was the biggest jump, which is funny because they also had the biggest jump in price.
Right.
And it kind of works backwards when you're thinking, well, there's so much inventory. Why did the price go up? There must be some type of
anomaly.
They're of just like
really expensive townhomes or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Third place goes to detached, which went from 4.3, which held steady from December to January, and now to 4.6. So we're going up in inventory across the board. And lastly, we're talking about condos. Again, we got more inventory, not as many transactions, which makes sense. We went from 6 months of inventory to 6.2. So condos are the only thing that sit in this buyer's market. Still, prices are not terrible.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how that works. And I think it's just the mass amount of them. There's just so much more.
Yeah.
So your volatility is a lot
Yeah.
less.
There's a little bit different factors at play when you look at condos.
Yes. Yeah. 1,000,000%. Okay. So I wanted to talk February again.
This is the segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the Generally segment.
And now, Joey's special segment.
Okay, so this was if you watched last year's February, I pulled the fact that February is a very special month because every time February rolls around, there's some major event that takes place.
Oh.
So this was the last time this happened. So it basically started with the pandemic. So in 2020, in February, that's when the pandemic got called and everything kind of went awry. Then from there, it went to 2022 where the peak of the market hit and they started raising interest rates like crazy. That was February of 2022.
Oh.
And today we're in February again. So I wanted to do the segment. I'm going to do this probably every February when it comes around, but I want to do the segment of where we were before pandemic, when prices were at their peak in February of 2022, and then
current day.
So just to get a gauge of where things have ridden, when we're kind of like always focused on, what our things are doing in this close term, it's nice to see where the big picture kind of lies.
Sure.
So I'm just going to run through them in terms of, I guess, products. So detached, semis, towns, and condos. So detached at the before pandemic levels, before anything interest rate crazy happened, they started, their average price was 1.48 million. At the peak, they went all the way up to 2 million. And today they're at 1.78. So we are talking about 20%. We're 20% higher than pre-pandemic. So if you bought in the pre-pandemic, you're still
doing well.
You're still doing pretty damn well as a detached. We're down from the peak by 11%, but that's climbed from the last year. So last year, February, we were 1.65. Today, we're at 1.78. So we're doing better in that sense.
We're trending back towards that all-time high.
Yes. Now, semis, and all of these follow the same trend. Semis, we're at 1.2 pre-pandemic. Then went all the way up to 1.5 when things got really heated. And today we're at 1.27. Sorry, they don't all follow the same trend. My bad. Semis didn't. Semis actually came down a little bit from last year, which we talked about right at the beginning. Right. So we're 5.8% higher than pre-pandemic, and we're 15% down from the peak.
Got it.
So semis took a big, and again, I think a lot of that is the fact that there's so little of them. So the fluctuation is just pretty intense. Towns, 1.6. It started at the beginning of the pandemic. At the peak, went up to 1.4, which was a huge one. And then back down again. Today, we're at 1.23. That's up from 1.19. So we're basically 16% higher than originally before pandemic, and 12% below the peak.
Got it.
So again, we're kind of climbing our way back up in that sense.
Yeah.
Condos. This is the interesting thing that I wanted to bring up. I'm going through all this, but condos are really interesting.
This is your climax. This is
So condos started pre-pandemic at 722. At their peak, 722. At their peak, they went all the way up to 822.
Which is substantial.
Which is a good push. It's less volatile than the others, but you also didn't get hit on the way down as hard. So at 822, they were at the peak, and then today they're at 724. We're flat.
Not much change.
No, we're kind of flat. So we're I don't know. There's something there where I think that there's room for growth, and I think it's a safer bet. If you're trying to just pay off a condo, have a renter in there, and just have something long term, I don't know. I don't mind them.
It's market fundamentals at play here for sure.
Right.
It's the amount of supply with condos lessens the volatility. We look at some things like semis, which has a much smaller sample pool, higher volatility. So when you're assessing your risk tolerance, especially if you're a first timer, I think a condo continues to be a really good place to start.
Right.
Because there's less volatility in it. Yes, there's also less upswing and future potential, but these are big numbers you're gambling with.
Totally.
I don't know if you want to be so aggressive with potentially a swing like a semi took.
Right. And I mean, in an investor side of things too, like if you're thinking about it in the investor mindset, like again, if you're paying off your condo and you're eventually just having a renter, you pay your maintenance fees and your property taxes and whatever little things come up. But after a long term, like, you're just going to have that nice continual cash flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for appreciation, maybe you would buy the starter bungalow and take your chances on that. If you're looking for more long-term cash flow, condos could be the better approach to take. So there's no right answer. It's what's individually right for you.
Exactly. It's what makes most sense for you. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. February is always the most, some crazy stuff happens in February.
That's my biggest takeaway, that you identified February as this weird black swan month of random occurrences.
And we've managed to make it kind of past February without this one being really eventful. So,
well, I mean, there was alien sightings, there was potential takeover of Canada, there was takeover of Greenland, takeover of the Panama Canal, renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. I mean, there was a few things.
I take that back.
But I think your point is, with whatever crazy did come up of it, things aren't so wild current day March. We'll hang tight to see what the next few weeks bring.
1,000,000%.
Aliens are going to be disclosed Monday morning.
Yeah,
it's like 100%. Right when this podcast goes live.
Yes. It's not that bad out there, guys.
Also, we're now slaves to aliens, so enjoy your future gods. No, that's amazing. I really enjoyed hearing that. I think context is key. And like it's so funny. People say like, oh, what's better, investing in the stock market or owning houses? I'm like, both.
Yeah. Honestly, I totally agree with that.
Both. Why are you competing with them? They're both assets. So I'm a simple investor when it comes to the financial markets. I simply invest in the S&P 500, the Vanguard VFE fund, all like Tony Robbins. Everybody talks about that as the smart safe. Even Warren Buffett said this is what he would do if he wasn't as wise as he was. And it's so funny because if you look at the last month of this fund, actually I'm going to pull it up just to give you some real life examples.
Yeah.
So if I look at the last month, I'm down like 3.5%, which is very small. That's not a huge, like Tesla. Let's do Tesla. It's a bigger swing of things. No, let's not do Tesla. Anyways, 1 month I'm down 3.5%. But if I go 1 year, I'm up 20%.
Right.
And timing is such an important element of the investing equation.
Right.
And it's the one that you really cannot get right ever.
Right.
That's where the luck factor comes in. You just kind of got to be like, oh, I sold in the right week. I bought in the bad week. Like, what are you going to do?
It's so funny that you say that. It's so true. We base all of our, anybody who analyzes this stuff always base history as if that's about to happen again. You don't know, as much as it's still, regardless, we don't know what's going to happen because we don't know how many times in the last 5 years have we been like, I didn't expect this.
Right? Yeah. Yes, these black swan occurrences are more like yearly February occurrences.
At this point, yeah. February occurrences.
Yeah, but it depends. Your perspective is everything. This goes back to the Chris Mulder touching the elephant. What are you holding on to? What part of the elephant is it?
Totally.
If you ask me today, I'm up 1% in that fund. If you ask me a month, I'm down 5%, let's call it. But if 5 years, guess how much I'm up in 5 years?
Let's hear it.
107%.
There you go.
Do you care if the last 3 months have been a bit volatile? Yes, if you bought 2 months ago.
Right.
No, if you bought 5 years ago. So always give yourself a large time horizon. I mean, that's a hard element to kind of absorb because time is, I don't know, what's time? Like, it's such a weird concept.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to a podcast I've been listening to this week.
Okay.
It's a 5-hour podcast episode.
Oh, we were talking about, yeah.
Acquired is the company is the podcast, and they went on Rolex. This is where I'm on this whole time flex. But it's such a fantastic podcast, and they go through the entire history of Rolex and where and why they are today, which also turns out to be a really good investment. If you bought, I helped a friend get a watch about 2010. That watch is up 300%.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see my house going up 300%. So much smaller numbers. But anyways, point I'm trying to make, time, Rolexes, all good investments.
I like it.
Cool, man. I think that's good enough.
Yeah. I think that covers February.
Yeah, that covers February.
And then we're going to see what happens in March.
Yes. Yes. We got some exciting things coming up from our end. And Yeah, send us your suggestions of what we should do with the space.
Yes, please.
Do you hate the space? Maybe. Do you love the space? Hopefully. Do you want to roast us on YouTube over the space? Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we need to game the algorithm. We got to get monetized because rent is not cheap in this place. Any shoutouts?
Shoutouts, Sages.
Yes.
Sagers. And Upper Supper Club.
Upper Supper Club, Joey's newest venture, where we will be serving elite potatoes. That's a reference to last week's episode where we talked about it's time for potatoes to have their moment of shine.
So tune in and we'll put a box in.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't.
We could do whatever you want, man. I'm down for anything at this point. Shout out a few people at Sage. Shout out the Fatas.
Shout out the Fatas.
We had a lovely conversation with them.
Yeah. The Kaiser Reed team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the cool kid table.
We were the cool kid table.
Yeah. Karen, she was sitting next to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me and Karen got a good conversation in that we haven't. I got to know her a lot more than before.
Yeah, good way to start bonding with people and like establishing.
That's what the nice thing about it is like these are people in our brokerage. They do good work, and it's nice to connect that way.
Yeah, and shout out the God Don Father, Larry Sage.
Yes,
he's so cool, man.
Yeah,
he. So I went by the office today.
Yeah,
he's erected on a flagpole outside of our office the Canada flag.
I love it.
Inside the office, he's got another Canada flag. And if you go into 210 Yonge Street during our operating hours, we will give you a Canada flag pin.
100%.
Yeah.
All the Sagers were wearing them that day.
And were they? We weren't.
Yeah, we were not.
Oh, so unpatriotic. Damn.
But they're handing them out. Yeah, 100%.
They're handing them out. So if you want to go by our Sage office and get yourself a little Canada pin,
Absolutely.
Canada flag pin, they will give them to you.
2010 Yonge Street.
2010 Yonge Street. Yeah, right down 2 doors, 3 doors, 5 doors over from St. Louis Wings. So make a day out of it. Yeah, shout out Larry. He's the OG. He really is always there. Whenever we have a question, he's like right on it. And patriotic as hell, and I love that about him. Really, like just cut from a different cloth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, such a good guy. Shout out anyone else?
I
think we covered all the
pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Collingwood.
Shout out Collingwood. I was right about to go there too.
Shout out Collingwood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smooth drink and refreshingly Canadian.
Yes.
That's good. Episode 83.
83.
In the books.
Beautiful.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.